engineering school is wonderful. There are other paths. You don't have to go to engineering school to be in construction.
Yeah. And to add to that, I'd probably say any profession will have its challenges. I know somebody up in New York City that is a lawyer trying to make partner, and they're working 70-plus-hour weeks and trying to also raise twins that I think are 2 now.
Oh my God.
But I watch their life, and then I'm like, my life's nowhere near that stressful and going all over the place. And everybody thinks the construction side is the really stressful. I don't want to do that. I'm like, well, any career is stressful. But I think what the magic within the AEC industry is that we all understand those really challenging days. And we come together, and if we can build the relationships, then you have somebody to talk to. You can lean on people. When we had issues on a job site, I could lean on you and just say, okay, I don't know what to do here. How would you look at it? And bring perspectives together, because you are one team in the end for the owner, and trying to work through it in a positive manner, and then go get drinks afterwards to feel better.
Numb that pain.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great point. So why are you on the project to begin with? There's a contract that says we're going to do XYZ by a certain date for a certain price, whatever that contract may be. At the end of the day, you're there to provide a solution to a customer.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a contractual relationship. We could have been very adversarial, very black and white. I have never found in my career that benefits me, benefits the customer, benefits my subcontractors. I don't look at that when I go into my projects. I certainly could live within just that confines of that contract, and that's not fair to anybody. Mm-hmm. I think there's opportunities to work together in a collaborative environment, solve very challenging problems together. There are times when I needed your help with things to solve, and then whether it was dimensionally or how things were going to come together in your mind, and then we could figure out the detail on how it's actually going to get built. There's no way you can do it yourself. You need to be able to work with others, and that's a two-way street. I've had, I would say, very good success with the architects I've worked with, because I went into it with that approach. We're here for the customer. We're not here to fight with each other. So if you do that, I think you can overcome some really crazy challenges and build some really cool buildings and projects.
Yeah, because I've definitely been on the side where it was very combative between the design team and the contractors, and that negativity and work environment, I almost left the industry altogether, because I was also very young in my career and was like, what did I get into? And besides that was, construction issues and failures I had to deal with on that project that grew me technically, that relationship side really changed my perception on how we need to build. And the next job I was on, it was an amazing relationship that I had with the contractor, and we were able to problem solve together and work through solutions. So I got to see both sides. So when I see architects just go, rah, the contractor's just trying to make all their money, and I'm like, well, yeah, you gotta get paid for things, but you gotta change your mindset too. Not everybody's out to get you type scenario.
I think we're very aligned there, Caitlin. Not surprisingly, I've had 2 very difficult projects in my career, and I do tell people that work for me, especially some of the younger professionals, those are the projects you learn the most, but you don't learn it when it's happening. It takes some time after the kind of the pain of the project to kind of refocus and look back and say, I'm never doing that again. And you develop skills and techniques, and you make yourself so much better when you have those challenging projects that you don't ever want to repeat. And ideally, as a director, I try to head those things off for all of the projects that Ten works on. And you'll inevitably find new challenges along the way, but if we can interrupt some of those things before they ever get going, then we don't have those really painful experiences. And that's, I think that benefits everybody on the project, all the way from the laborers to the CEO of the owner.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're in lockstep on that one. Yeah, that's no doubt.
At least you try. I know I left our job, so I couldn't finish out the project, but
the spirit never changed.
Yeah.
There were challenges on that job. There's no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it was still getting that project finished, and there were tough days, no doubt. But I think at the end of the day, it's a good project, and I'm pretty sure the owner's happy with it. So
yeah. As far as I know, I got a text message from the lead oncologist, like way after it was done, and I was like, "Great, it's fantastic."
Yep.
I know when I left that job, I've had professionals leave jobs partway through, and I wanted to make sure I left my team in a good spot. And I told them, like, I'm friends with all of you guys. Like, you text me if you've got a question, because I did the master plan and a lot of the drawings. So if you've got a question, if you need me to look at what email I sent Matt like months ago, like search for these words in my email. But making sure, I wanted to make sure that the cancer center was successful in the end, even though I left. But it was fun.
No, it was a great project, and it was a springboard for me too. So I definitely look back on that positively. And there were good people on the project. There's people on the project that want to work together and care about the success of the project, that team will have fun, and it'll be a successful project.
Yeah, and I'm glad you had civil background with the amount of work we had to do underground and attaching to 6 or 7 additions to a hospital. So
yeah. Oh yeah,
it was fun.
Yep. It's a good time.
Yeah. Switching over to the organizational side, has there been any particular organizations that have left an impact on your career?
So, there's a few, and I'm using the Pittsburgh market as kind of my litmus. That's where I've spent most of my career. The Master Builders Association of Pittsburgh is the trade organization that represents the largest general contractors in Pittsburgh. That organization provides training, has a lot of great opportunities for young professionals, good education. There's an internship award program. I mean, that's a wonderful organization. It's managed through the contractors, but again, it has outreach. I think that's a great place. For me, the American Society of Civil Engineers, they always did seminars when I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the trade organization for civil engineers, and then they have student chapters, which were great. Getting out into the energy services world, there's some unique trade organizations that are tailored to that business, and also kind of one of the things I'd add is I was very fortunate where my career kind of focused in on labs, healthcare, higher education, and there's obviously a plethora of opportunities there. From lab design as a conference, there's plenty of conferences out there, but there's very technical, specialized facilities. I always wanted to know what the building was trying to do, what the customer was trying to do with the building. And that tailored how I built the projects. I've worked with hydrofluoric acid hoods, which when you research hydrofluoric acid, you realize it reacts to metal, which is why the hoods are fiberglass. These are things they don't teach you in civil engineering school. These are things you have to want to learn about in order to deliver your projects. I never really just stopped at the drawing set that I was given. I wanted to understand how the whole building came together, what they were trying to do, how I could help make that better along the way. I'm part of this project for 18 months, 24 months, whatever. That building's going to last for 50 years. So I need to make sure that I'm doing my part to make sure that building is going to be successful for the life of that building. In my new role, we're taking old buildings and making them better. So
Yeah.
it's kind of almost a full circle, if you will, where I'm looking at, okay, these are the mistakes that were made in the past, or things that technologies have changed. Now we're going to go and upgrade them. So it's kind of a unique journey through the life of the building. Sounds maybe corny to think about it, but I'm thinking about it like this is a really cool thing that I'm a part of. So
yeah, do you feel like you have to do more research now on history on how they use? Like, I feel I have to do that with all the fit out work I've had to do. It's just, when was the building built and how did they build it when they did that? Or even my house it's almost 100 years old for most of it. There is an addition on it, but like I had failure at a window and I'm like, okay, I know how to detail it. I know what I need to see. And I went and called a very senior architect. I'm like, okay, how was construction done during this? Because I know how I would detail it now, but how did they actually build it then? To learn. So I feel like a lot of my research now is just how was construction done 100 years ago.
Watch some good This Old House stuff.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I just looked at drawings for high school that was 110 years old. So original drawings. So same way. It will affect how you do a renovation. In our role as design builder, performance contractor, we have to know how to do these things. A lot of contractors are like, well, that's the architect's problem. It's not how I ever approach projects. It's my problem. I mean, I need to know how to build it too. So,
especially if you don't like my answer.
And if I can find a better way, I'm going to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
It's a really cool part of the business. I think is kind of having that opportunity to experience some of these old buildings and how they were put together. And you're like, why in God's name was it done like this? And some of the stuff is, I can't believe we don't build it like that anymore. Some of the details, some of the effort that was put into some of these old buildings, I mean, they're just beautiful. The detailing, the construction materials were so much more durable than maybe what we're putting in today, just from a cost perspective. And love to try and keep those if we can, which we did at the Cancer Center.
Going up to a historic building.
Yeah.
So check out the full discussion from this bite of advice here. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on more mentorDINO content.